open throttle, and if I have to keep up with other bikes, I don't think my 2-gallon fuel tank is going to last very long.
All right, Wes.
You want to swap?
Yeah, I want to try that thing.
Let's do it. That's the first indicator that this is not made by KTM.
Dude, I just stalled this thing. This thing's kind of wimpy.
I would almost rather take this than my Honda 450 to go back up that trail.
Bike might be a little big for this stuff, but she holds her own. Woo!
Oh,
Got dirt coming up.
There's some big bugs out here in the mountains.
I don't, this just feels wrong.
Hey guys, there's kind of a problem. There's 3 wires here.
Probably can't show this.
Okay guys, we've got 4 of the newest and most exciting adventure dual sport bikes in the market. Now unfortunately there is no perfect do-it-all motorcycle, but I think all these bikes get pretty dang close to that mark. We're here to shake these bikes down and give you our thoughts and opinions and see which bike maybe fits the best in your garage. So the riders that we've got out here today, we've got Chancellor, the workhorse, do-it-all, test man. We've got Chase, the track rat. We've also got Justin. He's the old guy that still rips. And then myself, off the couch rider. We race sometimes. The categories that we're gonna look at today are obviously road. We're gonna get some high speed highway stuff, and then we're also gonna do some canyon carving and see how these bikes compare. And obviously we're gonna hit the dirt. You know, here at Rocky Mountain, we love riding off-road, so we're gonna shake these bikes down and see how they compare. But first things first, let's show you the bikes that we've got out here and see how they stack up on paper. All right guys, first up is the KTM 390 Adventure R. This bike on paper looks really good. I'm really excited to swing a leg over it and see how it performs today, but let's talk about some of the specs of this thing. So $6,999 MSRP, it's literally half the price of the older sibling 890 Adventure R. It's got the most horsepower or power to weight ratio in the class, and I love that it comes with enough range to get you 200 plus miles. That's really important for us, especially out west here. One other thing is this thing has badass electronics. It's got traction control and it's got cool connectivity with your phone. So just it feels like a modern bike, and you're getting a lot for the price that you're paying for this. So my question for today is, this is advertised and marketed as the Adventure R, right? This is supposed to be a badass off-road, capable of aggressive riding bike. I'm coming off a 790 Adventure R and I love that thing. I want to know if this lives up to that name and if it really is the best, most capable, lightweight adventure bike in the class.
All right guys, I've got the Ibex 450 from CFMoto here. I'm excited about this bike. I think this is the next gateway drug into adventure riding. Back in the day, the KLR was the cheap adventure bike getting people into adventure riding. But I think this is gonna take the top spot with an MSRP of 6,500 bucks. Now, I think this is gonna get me some really good street performance. It's got 6-speed, it's got a twin cylinder, so it's gonna be smooth on the road, hopefully. It's got good electronics. It's got an adjustable windscreen, big tank, and off-road performance, equally, I think it's gonna be okay. However, it does have not a ton of ground clearance and not a ton of travel. So we'll see how it compares to the other bikes. But my biggest question is this a unicorn bike that will allow me to ride with the CRF 300Ls and even the KTM 890s and maybe some 1200s? We'll see.
All right, folks, I've got the Suzuki DR-Z4S. Now let me start this video by saying it was not on my bingo card for this to be the most expensive bike in this little light adventure bike shootout. In fact, it's almost $1,500 more out the door than the KTM 390. It's kind of surprising to me, but there's something to be said. This is the only Japanese bike in the shootout. And when it comes to just all-out reliability, I think we'd all agree it's hard to beat the Japanese brands. Now, Chance was just up here talking about, oh, the Ibex 450, it's got the adjustable windscreen, the large fuel tank, It's got a little bit more bells and whistles, things like that. Well, guess what, Chance? I don't have an adjustable windscreen. I've got just over a 2-gallon fuel tank. But what this bike does make up for is it's gonna be the most playful bike off-road. At least that's my prediction. And me, coming from a moto background, that's what I'm excited for. I actually want a bike that I can take dual sport riding, I can maybe take on the single track, and it's gonna cater to that type of riding. I'm just curious to see how it stands up to more of the adventure riding with these other bikes. So I'm excited to find out. We've got nice suspension on this bike, fully adjustable, the DR-Z4S. I think it's gonna surprise me today.
All right guys, so I'm gonna be starting out on the Himalayan 450. Now when I first saw this bike, I couldn't tell if it was really ugly or really good looking, but I think I'm gonna go with really good looking. I think it's starting to grow on me. This is the biggest, as far as CC goes, biggest motor in the class. It's also the heaviest in the class too. So when you look at power to weight ratio, this thing is actually the weakest bike in the class. It weighs 20 pounds more than the Ibex 450. So I got a little bit of weight to it. It weighs 430 pounds. That's full of gas. I do have a big gas tank though, 4.5 gallons, which is really nice for adventure riding. I'm gonna be able to go anywhere on this thing with 4.5 gallons. Another thing to point out is the wheel size. I got 21 inch up front, 17 in the rear. All the other bikes have an 18. The 18's a little nicer because you have more tire choices, but 17's not bad. There's plenty of good tires out there for a 17. The bike also comes with Showa suspension, which is really cool. However, it's not adjustable. There's zero adjustment on it other than the preload on the shock. So we'll see how that goes today. It does have the least amount of suspension travel as well. So the biggest question today is, how does this bike stack up to the rest in the class? Let's get out there and ride and find out.
All right, hitting the I-15 here, 75 mile an hour speeds. We've got 3 singles and a twin, Chancellor.
I'm excited.
I think Chance was the first to pick bikes.
This is a great way to break a brand new bike in. Just get right on the freeway.
Yeah, bet those rings in. He's saying 6,000 RPM for 70. What are you guys at?
I'm at the same, about 6,000 at 70.
I'm curious to know how accurate these are to speed, because this says 85 right now and it does not feel like I'm doing 85. I'm at like 7,500 RPM to do 80. Justin, this thing for a single, this is very surprising to me right now.
Accelerating in fifth, okay. I mean, I ain't popping no wheelies in fifth gear, but it'll go.
Hey, what do you think of that Himalayan seat, Wes? It's not bad, huh?
It's not bad.
It's kind of comfy.
Yeah. Nice and wide.
Okay, drag race.
Oh man, you're too light.
Okay, Wes, this thing definitely vibrates more than that.
Yeah, this feels pretty smooth.
I am wide open throttle, and if I have to keep up with other bikes, I don't think my 2-gallon fuel tank is gonna last very long.
Justin, I still think that bike has a higher top speed than this.
Probably. It read pretty good off the line there.
Okay, I caught up to you guys. That was fun, I guess.
All right, first ride now on to 390. JD's not giving the other bikes a fair shakedown. He's already in love with this thing. I'll be the judge of that. Thing's got no pep in its step.
No bottom end, huh? Just wait till you rev it out. Let's do a roll on. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that thing rips, dude.
Yeah, 390. It's not bad. The DR-Z, like off the bottom, is fine. It's just once you get up a little bit higher, but that Ibex motor is not very exciting off the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, neither is that. You just got to get it in the revers up there.
Okay guys, we just got done riding the road on all 4 bikes. On paper, this was stacking up to be the best bike on the road, and I have to agree, it outperformed itself. Twin cylinder, 6-speed, super smooth, adjustable windscreen.
Adjust mine. Oh yeah, one-handed. Helps a little bit.
It was good. However, there were some complaints that the tank was a little wide, which it is.
So far, the motor feels a lot of fun. This giant tank doesn't feel a lot of fun though.
That's the first thing I told Chancellor is how wide it felt right in my crotch.
Yeah, this thing's like wide.
And then Wes asked me why my legs were sticking out so far.
Dude, you look like a frog on the thing.
But, did great. If I had to choose another bike though, second to this on the road, I think I might go the Himalayan. That was a good bike. Just good all around, pretty smooth, low to the ground. Now, if I could fix one thing on this bike, it would be this seat. You do sit really far in the bike. It's really low and you're kind of cramped a little down low. If if you can get a flat like rally seat on this thing, that would make this bike just that much better.
All right, I'm going to start by saying that these 3 bikes are in the same class. The DR-Z is in a class of its own. So talking about these 3, I enjoyed all of them. The bike that surprised me the most though was the Himalayan. I was really surprised how smooth the motor was. It has good torque, and I had a lot of fun riding this thing through the twisties. So yeah, while I like all 3, I'd be happy with either 3 of these on the road. I was most impressed with this. This thing was a lot of fun to ride.
All right, so my windscreen is a bit low, but it blocks the wind about the center of my visor.
The windscreen is quite low, so when I'm on the freeway and stuff, it's giving me wind protection on my chest, but the wind is hitting me kind of right in the center of the face shield. So I do like the better wind protection of the KTM, that's for sure. We're at pretty high elevation right now, and the bike still ran great, pulled hard. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with this thing.
So I actually have a Himalayan 411, and this is an improvement. It is more powerful. What do you think, Chance? You trading in your Himalayan? No. No? I don't think so. How come? Like, this is a pretty good bike. After riding at least the Ibex, I don't know. As of now, I think I like the Ibex a little bit more. You're confused. You're confused. I'm so confused.
Okay guys, for the KTM, if you guys have seen any content on this bike, I think you probably already know that this bike has no bottom end. You really have to rev the motor to get anything out of it.
Dude, even revving this thing off the bottom feels like a little rough. What's up with that? All right. This thing definitely has a little more zip in the higher RPM, but that Himalayan's got way more torque.
I was pretty surprised how capable it felt on the highway and at high speeds. Now, it's funny that the bikes kind of lined up like they did, because that's about how I would rank them for road performance and just ability. The Twin is obviously my favorite on road. The Himalayan did surprise me a bit, but the KTM also surprised me as well. And I think a couple of things that stood out is wind protection. They really stood this windshield up more than the 790/890 platform, and it does a lot better job at keeping the wind off you. They've got the relief in here that helps with anti-buffeting, and so that was an awesome thing. And then the other thing that stood out is just ergos and how comfortable this bike is.
This thing just has like the perfect blend of I'm comfortable on the road, but I can't wait to take this on the dirt. The ergos feel good, it's smooth, and I'm like, all right, now I want to go off-road on it though.
I'd heard a bit in reviews that it was feeling kind of small and cramped, but honestly, I think it's a lot more open than these other two, and it gives you that ability to move around a bit on it. So honestly, everything that I've felt so far has been surprising on this bike, and I think it's just setting us up for doing awesome off-road too. So I'm really excited to get this in the dirt and see how it does.
All right, DR-Z4S. Now look, when you look at this thing on paper and when you go ride it on the road, it didn't exceed my expectations, but it didn't let me down either. I already knew what I was getting into riding this thing today. Yes, it's got a lot of vibration. Yes, it can use a 6th gear. It's got the small gas tank, but you have to look at the DR-Z as more of an off-road bike, great dual sport bike that is capable of doing some highway stints. Would I want to ride this thing all day long on the asphalt? Absolutely not. The seat's pretty firm.
Not only is this bike super vibrating, the seat is rock hard, so you feel all of it too.
The seat is very hard. You feel everything coming through that thing.
Wow.
The ergos, it just feels like a dirt bike. Obviously, there's no windscreen on here, but I am excited to go ride this off-road because it feels very playful. We were just kind of screwing around a little bit earlier, and I just know it's gonna be fun off-road. Now, as far as the other bikes go, I think honestly, just throw a dart at a board for any one of these three. I think they're all great on the highway. The one that I am most excited to ride off-road though is the 390 because it felt the most like the DR-Z, where I feel like this bike is gonna be very playful in the dirt, but it still felt really good on the asphalt. So for the DR-Z, you know what you're getting. You're getting a really good bike that's very capable for dual sport off-roading. You can also go hit the slab with from time to time.
Dude, I think this is the hill climb. Yeah, this is the hill climb. Hi, Mark. Whoa! I didn't make it! Chance, I can't believe you made it this far, buddy.
Wow! I about ate it! No, not quite.
Jump!
Oh, I found the bottom of the forks. I found the bottom of the forks.
Oh.
Here, Chance, let me ride it. Chance, I want to ride up that same spot on that, and you ride on this.
No, there's just something about a big bike and being planted.
Pink Pony Club.
Jump up it. Dang, that thing sounds weak.
Whoa, I hit that a little slow. All right, single track, 6 water divide.
Big bikes off-road. This is fun.
Yeah. Oh shit! It was. Yeah, up front. What did I hit? Tipping bikes over. Uh-oh. I busted a coolant hose. It's coming out quick.
Chase broke the bike. That's why you don't bring moto kids on cool trails. Sorry, Chase.
I am Chase, the trail guy.
Sure.
I say see you on the trails in every video. I am on the trails right now. Chance here wanted practice because this is stuff that he's new to. So I figured I'll let
Thank
him.
you, Chase.
Yep,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is an gnarly trail, let's face it. Oh, you dented the pipe too.
Nah,
Coming out of your
was
paycheck.
that was probably when Wes was doing the hill climb on.
Self-fusing, and it fuses to itself. Okay, there you go. That's hot. Oh, that's hot. Okay. Get over there, get over there.
There. All right. Only one way to know.
We'll try.
And let's get out of this rain that's coming. Great. I don't even know.
This is great. This is the best day of summer so far.
So after a very long and fun day riding all these different bikes today, here's my summary of the DR-Z4S. This bike, no surprises, it was happiest on the single track riding that we just did. If you're a dual sport rider, or maybe want to do just shorter ADV rides, but you're more about just having a playful, more off-road style bike that is road capable, that's what the DR-Z4S is going to give you. Yes, it needs a 6th gear. Yes, it needs a bigger fuel tank, but those things I can compromise with if this is the type of riding that I'm going to do the most often. I got to ride all the different bikes today. JD's over here slamming foot pegs and brake pedals here on this single track. I was glad I was on this bike, but if I had to choose just one that for me just kind of suits everything that I would want a dual sport adventure bike to be, it'd be that 390 right there. But for riders, again, that want a bike that is a great dual sport bike, great for single track, road capable, DR-Z4S, it's a good option.
Okay guys, like Chase said, super fun day. All three of these bikes, the Himalayan, the 390, and this Ibex, great bikes. They compare one with another very well. The DR-Z, just a little, almost out of class. I was worried going into dirt on this bike because it is a big bike. It looks like a big bike. However, when you're on these trails, it does handle itself very well. CFMoto put a very good package together. I'm able to turn off all the traction control and ABS as needed super easily, and they come with folding shift lever, brake pedals, the works. So after riding this bike through all this stuff, I'm super happy with it. I would be happy with any three of these bikes. The KTM disappointed me a little more than I wanted it to. Just there's a few things like the kickstand that just kills the bike that I could get fixed. It's just right off the showroom floor, it's a little disappointing. But the CFMoto, it by far exceeded my expectations.
All right guys, with the KTM, we've got a lot to unpack actually. I even made some notes on here to make sure I hit everything I wanted to talk about. But overall, I'm happy with the bike. The motor for a sub 400cc motor, it really did impress me, especially on the highway. It's very capable of 70, 80, more if you wanted to ring it out. It's got good wind protection up front, and this thing is so straight up that it doesn't really get in the way too much when you're riding off-road. It's got a big tank, so it's capable of longer jaunts and bigger rides with the big bikes. Overall, I think this thing is the most well-rounded bike in the group today with all the riding that we did with highway, mountain roads, gravel, and even single track. I think it does everything well, but let's talk about the bad. I'm a little disappointed with how little bottom end. It has 0 bottom end. So you really have to wring this thing out to get any power out of it, which is not terrible on the road, but it really becomes apparent off-road. And so with all the electronics package that it comes with, it really is not, in my opinion, not that relevant on this bike because it just really doesn't even have the power to spin the wheel up.
Man, this thing just doesn't have the power to step out. Like got traction control off, but it's, you almost have to ride it a gear low.
So that was a bit disappointing, but it didn't flame out as much as I thought it would. I saw that people were having that issue in other reviews, but.
So this bike, for safety, has a kickstand switch, so you don't ride off with your kickstand down. So if the kickstand's down and it's in gear, it'll cut the motor. So when we're riding this thing and hitting bumps, the kickstand's falling down, shutting off the motor and scaring everybody to death when we try to push it hard.
Overall, happy with the bike. Like if I had to pick one out of this group, as far as being the most well-rounded, I would say this bike. I think you're still getting a lot of bang for your buck, but coming into this, I had high hopes. I'm on a 790 Adventure R right now. I really was thinking for myself that, man, maybe I'll trade in the 790 and get this bike, but no, it didn't meet the level of expectation that I had. I still have a lot of fun, a lot more fun on my 790, both on and off-road. So a little disappointed there, but overall, I don't know, it's cool to ride and had a good day like these other guys. So.
Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the DR-Z. I think everybody summed that up. It's a great dual sport bike. These 3 adventure bikes, they're awesome. They're definitely very comparable. I had a lot of fun on each one of them. And, you know, we were all a little disappointed with the 390. Wes talked about that. I was a little bit too, only because we had such high expectations for it. And it was a great bike. It's just, I thought it was gonna stomp these 2 other bikes, and it didn't. They were actually all really fun to ride. Now, for the Himalayan, I actually thought it was gonna be awful. I really didn't have much expectation for this thing at all. And it surprised me. This thing was a lot of fun. The motor is extremely smooth, really good torque. It chugs up the hills really well, does really great off-road, and on the street, it's awesome. Again, super smooth. The suspension, where it isn't adjustable, I thought for sure it was just gonna be pretty crappy suspension. It's actually really good. It felt really planted. You know, on these dirt roads, I just felt planted all the time. It never did anything weird. I'd hit little jumps or bumps and it actually soaked it up really good. I was really surprised about this. The KTM, I thought the front end felt a little chattery and a little more nervous, where this thing just felt planted. So that kind of surprised me. One downside I found with the Himalayan was the ground clearance, especially with my foot pegs. I was hitting my toes all over in the single track.
Oh, yeah. I'm dragging my feet on stuff. Gotta watch the toes. Ow!
Now, the bike's probably not made for that kind of single track. That got pretty gnarly, but man, it was pretty bad. I was hitting everything. As you can see, I totally smashed the brake pedal. I'm shocked I didn't do the same to the shift lever. That's something our R&D group's gonna work on. We're gonna get some better shift lever and brake pedal on this as soon as possible. Overall, you know, when it comes to a lightweight adventure bike, I would take any one of these 3. I had a blast on all of them. They're all just a little bit different. They do things a little bit differently. If I was to pick one for the money, parts availability, all that stuff, I'd probably I think I'd still go with the KTM, but I wouldn't be disappointed with any one of these. All of them are great bikes.
All right, everyone, so that does it for this little lightweight adventure bike shootout. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope that this will give you some sort of direction of maybe which one of these bikes might be best for you if you're bike shopping right now. But we'd also love it if you comment down below. Let us know which one of these bikes maybe you've ridden, give us your feedback on it, what have you liked and disliked, and which one of these would you take home if you could only choose one right now. And don't forget to our R&D team at Rocky Mountain is hard at work. We're already building parts and components for all these different bikes. We're gonna be doing builds on a lot of these, so get subscribed to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel. That way you do not miss out on those and on the parts and accessories that are and will be available for these. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.